All right, my friends, welcome back. This is Donnie,
And Sandra.
and we are coming to you from our 75th county in North Carolina, and that is Hertford County. Since our beginning challenge in this whole quest, this journey through North Carolina, which started back in 2019, we have stayed in 3/4 of North Carolina. There's 100 counties in North Carolina, and this is the 75th county that we've been in. And so we've still, at the time of this recording, we have 6 more counties that we're going to be staying in before this road trip is over with. And so now what we do in each county is we give the reviews of the campgrounds or the boondock locations that we stay in. So make sure you check out our playlist on our YouTube channel and check out all the places that we've been in. We give just an honest opinion on how we feel about where we stay at. And so be it good or bad, this is our opinion. At any rate, another thing that we like to do is we like to share the ghost stories and urban legends in these counties that we venture into. Not every county I've been able to find a ghost story or an urban legend, but if I do find something, I share it. And that is part of the journey, the education part of it, because these ghost stories are just not just your ghost story. There's usually a route that started off with some truth to it, and through the years and decades or what have you, however old the urban legend or the ghost story is, people have kind of added to it, and but it's a cool way to learn about the history of the area.
Yeah, they're steeped in a lot of history.
Yeah, oh yeah. But this one here is called the Ghost Light at Early Station. The Ghost Light at Early Station. And it just seems like every area, there just seems to be some type of story around railroad tracks where somebody had lost their life, and usually they lose their head, and there is somebody looking for their head with a lantern. And there's all types of stuff, the Mako light being one of them. And this is one of those similar type of stories. And so it's not a long story. And so, but there's 3 different places that I learned about this one. And you're going to see some things come up on some pictures come up on the screen, and that will be of the area that I'm talking about. But at any rate, the Ghost Light at Early's Station, and that's EARLYS, Early's Station, outside of Ahoskie, and that's AHOSKIE. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. Ahoskie, North Carolina, reported since the 1920s, there is a haunted stretch of railroad that has been scaring teenagers for years. Seeing the ghost light at Early Station has become a rite of passage in Hertford County. The town of Early Station was named for the Early family. The town once boasted a post office, several stores, depot, and Early's Baptist Church. When the Atlantic Coast Railroad stopped running and the depot closed, the town began to dry up. The Early Station's trains once provided passenger rail service to Ahoskie, Rocky Mount, Suffolk, and Norfolk, running 3 trains a day just to Norfolk. In addition, those trains brought the mail, grocery products, and merchandise to Bertie County. The station has been closed for years. However, no trains stop there now. The first version of the ghostly tale says that a railroad worker was run over by a train and now haunts the tracks looking for his severed head. The Second version states that in the early 1900s, train engineer James Jimmy Pierce sees another train headed towards him on the same tracks. He hits the brakes, but it's too late. Suddenly, the train passes right through his train. The other train is a phantom train. He receives a lot of kidding when he tells others about it until a few hours later when his train jumps the track, killing Jimmy. One legend says that years ago a hobo tried to hop on the train and didn't make it. He fell back. Some of the railroad cars ran over him and his head was severed. Now the man's ghost carries a lantern at night as he walks up and down the tracks on both sides of the crossing where he fell and searches for his head. Another account says a homeless man lived here in Early Station in the eastern North Carolina. He had once owned a business there, but it failed, and he began to drink. He was likely drunk when he stumbled and fell off the platform where the train ran over him. They found his body, but never his head. Other versions can be found. One says a railroad worker ended up being decapitated when he fell under the train. Some curious people have also gone to investigate the light and run back declaring that it started chasing them. Others have tried to shoot it, but they never managed to stop it, and the light always returns. Stand on the railroad tracks and face west. A glowing light will begin to appear, moving slowly down the rails. Walk toward it, and it disappears. Turn around, and the light reappears behind you. The light moves slowly along the tracks, sometimes getting brighter and sometimes fading to almost nothing. It often sways slightly from side to side as if someone was carrying it, but it might stop for brief periods. Other times, it is red or green. No one has been able to get close enough to tell what it is. Most get scared and leave before they get that far, and others tell of the light suddenly vanishing. But that mystery and mystique are what keeps the legend alive. Now, the directions to it that I was able to get is from Highway 11, take Brick Mill Road, cross into Hertford County. About 1.7 miles from Highway 11, you will cross the railroad tracks. Park here and walk the tracks toward Allander. That's Aulander. The actual address is 490 Early Station Road, Hertford County, North Carolina, 27910. Now here's some eyewitness testimony. I couldn't help but I had to grab some eyewitness testimonies. This first one here. Now I did have the names of these people, and so what I did is I withheld the names. The first one says, I took my sister and a friend of hers there one night, and the light was there in front of us, then behind us. Never knew we could run so fast. I don't think my kid sister was too impressed with me for quite some time after that. Another one says, my great-grandmother, and then they give the name of the grandmother, was born August 17th, 1915, and raised in Millennium in North Carolina, not far from Early Station. As a young adult, I remember telling my grandmother about going to see the train light. She told me when she was a little girl, sometime around 1930s or 40s, a train derailed and the conductor's upper body, face and head was severely burned by steam from the engine, not beheaded, causing him to die from the injuries. She said her and her mother went there and helped people and served food to the passengers. From my understanding, the conductor was the only death, and I'm not sure if he died there or in the doctor's care elsewhere. I cannot find any documentation to substantiate this. However, my grandmother was not known to tell wives' tales. Another one says, a group of high school students went to see the lights one night years ago. We all started walking down the tracks when all of a sudden the light appeared in front of us. We turned and ran back down the tracks and the light chased us. It disappeared up over our heads. We were scared out of our wits, but we saw it. It was cool now that I think about it. I will never forget that experience. And the last one says, I saw the ghost light several times while I was in high school. It was truly a spooky place to go at night. We walked the tracks and sometimes the light would appear in front of you and other times behind you. I remember we all screamed and ran as fast as we could when the light was so bright on us that it cast our shadows onto the railroad tracks and under our feet. Truly terrifying. And so that is the ghost story about the ghost light at Early's station. And so, at any rate, you got anything?
It does seem like that's a going theme of the headless sky.
Yeah. It's one of those. It just seems like there's usually a story, and it's like this guy's grandmother. There was a truth to it. Somebody died, and then maybe it got added to how you tell one story and you tell it to somebody else, and the next thing you know, it goes around the room and it's not anything like it actually was, from the beginning. And so now there is another ghost story for this county, and we're going to be talking about that too. It is called the Brown Lady of, how do you say that? Chowan. Chowan. The Brown Lady of Chowan. We're going to be going through that ghost story next. But you guys take care. We love you. We hope you have a very safe and unspooky night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.